slow down. Breathe. Hey, I'm Eric Haugen. There's my website, my Patreon, my Instagram, my Spotify artist page. Go ahead and like my videos and subscribe to my channel if this content helps you out. Hey, my friends. So I've said this before, I've said it in like every video I've ever shot, but it's probably the most important thing. If you're watching videos on YouTube and you're wanting to improve, take a breath, slow down. It really is like the number one thing that I tell my students. I'm going to provide some examples in a second, but here's my thoughts on this. This is a very persnickety, fine motor function thing. This is like brain surgery playing this instrument. You know, getting both these ends working together and having it come out right. And it is the thing I say the most in lessons to my students is take a breath, slow down. And then, let me continue. Proceed meticulously, patiently, tenaciously, or I can't do that with a pick in my hand, and musically. You know, you're always trying to do all those things. You have to really give yourself the space to play stuff smoothly. Let me provide some examples now, and let's watch what happens with a lead example, a rhythm example, and a chord example of playing something at the edge of my ability versus playing something when I can really know that it's there. Let's take, oddly enough, let's take a Tony Iommi motif. So there I was playing it too fast, at the edge of playing it clean. So I'm just talking about this iconic opening of this solo. That's a great lick, by the way. That's the opening of the Iron Man solo. Oh, let's put fuzz on. So if I push that, I think I got it, but honestly, I'm not sure. So like if a student was working on something like this, I'd be like, hey man, take a breath and let's pull it back. In fact, I'll take that off. And what happens is when we slow down, you actually can increase the stank. Because I can feel that every note is exactly where I meant it to be. And the thing I say is place the notes, don't chase the notes. And so if I just leave that right there, I'm so much more comfortable to take that phrase and do other things with it. Rather than just pushing it and seeing if maybe it came out right. So yes, that is some of the things I think about. Let's continue. Let's put this in a more, take a funk example. Let's take like a James Brown example. So first I'll play it at, up speed. That's my, not exactly accurate version of the riff from Sex Machine. He doesn't do a chromatic thing there. So then, let's see what happens if I'm like, well, that was kind of it. That was pretty much it, but my heart was racing. I was on the edge of my ability. My stress levels were going up, etc., etc. Well, I'm gonna pause. Yeah, man, I do believe that practicing guitar doesn't have to mean sweating and suffering. This thing I tell my students all the time. I don't know where that came from, but it is a thing. It is a thing. We tend to think that, like, if we want to get better at this instrument, that, like, are tight, angry, mad at ourselves. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I tend to argue that guitar can be darn close to meditating. Yes, you have to be very detail-oriented, you have to be very focused, you have to be very patient and mindful. All those, self-help, words do apply. But it doesn't have to mean sweating and suffering and heart racing and cortisol levels, that's your stress hormone, elevating. I think if we can teach ourselves to be patient, we're going to actually get way better at this instrument. There it is, slow. And so I actually play in a way that, like, I never tell people to go faster. In fact, I always say just drag it, man. Play to make yourself fall asleep. Interesting, isn't it? It is. So, like, I can, like, actually, like, as I practice that, I can actually bring my heart rate down as opposed to heart rate up, which anybody over the age of 30 knows. Any doctor will tell you you're supposed to meditate and get control of your stress. Yeah, hi, I'm high-functioning anxiety, so yeah, I know how to manage my stress. So, let's go ahead and this is an interesting thing. I noticed that bass line is an F minor pentatonic thing. And I discovered that by dragging the tempo back, relaxing, breathing, my brain made this connection. What? Yeah. So here's a little, Eric observation that if you take funk and, certain funk and soul and R&B bass lines and slow them way down, you have stoner doom metal riffs. Yeah. Watch, I can do it again. Let's say Sly and the Family Stone. All right, drag it. I'm going to go even slower. This is a fun one. Let's see. There you go. There you go, my stoner rock friends. Isn't that fun? It sure is. Okay, let's look at this in the context of also strumming chords. Here's a progression I throw at students all the time. It's like my tester. I don't even really love this Beatles song, but the bridge of We Can Work It Out. Very short, and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. Because it's got slash chords in it, and a 7 sus4. That's always a test of, like, okay, intermediate guitar student, where you at? Where you at? Is this going to make your head spin or not? And even that progression, to make sure that right hand and left hand are in 100% agreement about what's going on. Get in those chords exactly right. Okay. David Bowie, Life on Mars. Yeah, I'm obsessed with this chord progression lately. It might be the greatest chord progression of all time. Oh, that build up. This augmented chord. What? Well, you can't do it and not do the payoff now. Watch this augmented. Yeah, that's good. That's a really good chord progression. All right, so let's just review. So when you're practicing any instrument, really, I can only speak to guitar. Anytime you perceive any sort of error before you go into the game of self-recrimination, self-abuse, any of that stuff that, so delicious, so delicious. I suck. Why do I suck? Why do I even play guitar? Why do I even do this? Well, we don't really have an answer for that question. Pause. Take a breath. Remember what the doofus on YouTube said, to just oh yeah, this thing is hard. I need to slow down, breathe, be aware on that, be cool with that, and then proceed patiently, meticulously, tenaciously, and musically. Because what we're, I'll just keep blabbing on and on now. Our real goal with this instrument is not a relationship where we've dominated. It's actually, for me, it's a relationship, I call it, of oneness, where this guitar is me and I am the guitar, and it's all just a comfortable thing. We just want that comfort. So that hey, if you ask me how I'm doing, I could be well, here's how I feel today. Seems about right. I feel that. Mostly happy, but there's that little bit of a C minor in there. Seems about right. Now, yeah, that oneness, and to cover all my points. The only other point I want to make, and I don't know where this enters in, but in life, in real life, when we make a mistake, there are consequences to it, and no matter what you do, be it to yourself or to the world or to people or to whatever, even if you apologize, there are consequences. In music, when we're practicing, what a gift. There are no consequences to making a mistake other than, you go, ha, 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 breathe. And then you could be actually, that mistake was cool. That is the thing. Anyway, we'll stop there for today. I think I made my point. I'll just keep making this point because it really, to me, is the number one thing. It doesn't matter what you're working on, that you are experiencing every note and not relying on, I throw my fingers at the fretboard and I don't know actually what I just did. I'd much rather, me, I'd rather play 3 notes and really know what they mean than whatever the opposite is. Again, that's for the kind of music I enjoy. If you're a progressive metal person or a bluegrass person, that's a different story. It is about this, but then setting a metronome so that you can go faster and faster. But I think there's only been one lick I ever in my life set a metronome to, and was I know that was the intro of some fake Swedish song from 2005 that anyway, yeah, that was one time I had to really practice a lick to make it land and make it fast. But usually I'm I'm always going to find a slow way to do it because, also here's Eric's salty. Well, this isn't salty, but this is just kind of a truth. I don't know. Once you're not a teenager anymore, if you've spent the time going faster and faster, you might be pretty much as fast as you're going to be. So then my thing is like, well then if that's as fast as you reasonably can be, if once you're an adult and you're fully formed, well then it's more a matter of making sure that everything you do is musical and is musical and sounds nice. Thank you to everybody who supports me in all the ways that you do, even if it's just clicking like and subscribe, because that's algorithm relevancy, you know, which translates to website traffic, and that means people are booking lessons, purchasing my PDF downloads for my arrangements, supporting me on Patreon, donating, because it's this really interesting thing I've done here where I'm making my living without putting ads on this channel. So it's actually through your generosity and through you, thank you, deciding to be like, you know what, this guy's all right. This guy's all right, I'll throw him a couple of bucks. I appreciate what he does here, and it works. That's so cool. That's so cool that it's working, because I find ads to be so annoying. Mainly just the volume level, you know, like when someone's like, here, check out this thing on YouTube. You know, you're going to get hit hard with it. As Bill and Ted would say, be excellent to each other. That includes yourself. I'll see you next Friday. Happy, oh, darn, I hate it when I say Friday and then okay, one more time. As Bill and Ted would say, be excellent to each other. That includes yourself. I'll see you next week. Happy Friday. Eat pizza.